KB Wilson has already made it clear to everyone he wants to be better than Michael Jordan. Has he lost his mind, or does he simply know he's about to start a legendary career? Hey everyone, before we continue the video, let me leave you a message. Did you know that more than 80% of the people who watch the videos on this channel aren't subscribed? So do me a solid, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video because your like matters a lot, hit the notification bell, and help me try to hit the goal of 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Okay? Without further ado, let's get into the video. We're in this together. Before the 2026 draft, the expectation was that the class would have a big three made up of AJ, Darren, and Cam. Caleb Wilson was seen as only the fourth name of this generation. That changed fast. In his Summer League debut, KB scored 35 points, coming very close to an NBA record for a debut. In college, he averaged nearly 20 points and 10 rebounds a game, which earned him comparisons to a young Kevin Garnett. The one thing considered an obstacle to him reaching stardom was his long-range shot. Throughout his entire college career, Caleb made only 7 three-pointers. Now he's just made exactly 7 threes in a single game. That's why a lot of people in the NBA already believe KB Wilson could become the best player of a draft class with the potential to go down in history, and KB himself doesn't hide his confidence. Even better, there's a great reason to believe he can turn those words into reality very soon. After scoring 35 points, this was KB's reaction. NBA legends like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant certainly had extraordinary talent, but what really set them apart was their mentality. And Caleb's story shows that he developed that same kind of mindset from a very young age. Going back to when he was in 5th grade, Caleb played in a national AAU championship. On the ride home, he cried in the car. That's where his path started to change. His mother looked at him and told him he was too nice, and that once he stepped on the court, he needed to completely change his attitude. Today, KB Wilson enters the NBA with a list of rivals he intends to surpass. That list has more than 30 names of players who were recruited ahead of Caleb or chosen to represent Team USA in his place. Just like Michael Jordan, Caleb uses that feeling of payback as fuel to grow and become the best. Even when he was projected to be only the 4th pick in the draft, he made his mentality clear. Caleb's goal is to surpass everyone who finished ahead of him, and in the Summer League, the first name on that list was Cam Boozer. Boozer was picked ahead of KB in the draft, and the two had already been teammates on Team USA during the 2024 Nike Hoop Summit. In that tournament, Cam was named MVP while Caleb had a much smaller role. Now this was the perfect chance for KB to cross another name off his list. Right at the start of the game, he showed his shot had improved. His first points in the Summer League came on a three-pointer after creating space off the dribble. Shortly after, he drew attention again by creating his own shot and converting a tough fadeaway, making clear his offensive game was far more complete. But anyone who follows his game knows the Kevin Garnett comparisons didn't come only from his offense. On defense, after a bad pass, Caleb closed out at full speed and recovered with an impressive block. In the final quarter, he also showed off his athleticism, catching the ball, blowing past a defender with ease, and finishing with real polish near the basket. To cap off the performance, he threw down another emphatic dunk attempt and hit 2 more spectacular threes. The result was a dominant showing, 35 points, 3 blocks, and 2 steals. And maybe the most impressive detail is that Caleb had already assured Chicago's front office, before the draft even happened, that he'd be capable of delivering performances at this level. KB Wilson's self-belief, combined with his talent on the court, has already caught the attention of practically everyone in the NBA. As already mentioned, a lot of people see similarities between Caleb and a young Kevin Garnett. At one point, Draymond Green explained that Garnett played in an era when big men and power forwards had far less freedom to put the ball on the floor or shoot threes. Caleb, playing in the modern NBA, can explore a much more versatile game, which in Draymond's view, gives him the chance to reach an even higher ceiling. And Draymond Green isn't the only one who thinks this way. Jay Williams has also had very strong praise for the young talent. The Kevin Garnett comparisons go well beyond defense. They also cover his intensity, his physicality, his competitiveness, and above all, his relentless energy. Caleb plays every possession like it's his last, never letting up. But then an inevitable question comes up. If KB believes he can surpass Michael Jordan, and so many people compare him to Kevin Garnett, why did he end up being only the 4th pick in the draft? The answer starts in high school. For most of that period, Caleb was considered one of the top 10 recruits in the country. Even so, he ended up finishing his class only in 8th position. Scouts pointed to his huge defensive potential, but noted that offensively he wasn't a natural shot creator, nor a player with a dominant scoring profile. The general read was that his best fit would be as a complementary piece. Because of that outlook, nobody expected Caleb to arrive at North Carolina and immediately take over as the team's main offensive option. In the end, the main reason he didn't crack the draft's top 3 was doubt around his long-range shot. Even so, Caleb always showed confidence that he could prove that wrong. At the same time, it's worth keeping a balanced view of his game. His mentality really is different, and that kind of attitude tends to fuel great careers. But the Summer League also made clear there are still things to develop, and that he's far from a finished player. His ball handling, for example, still needs to improve a lot if he wants to consistently create his own shot in the NBA. In several Summer League possessions, defenders managed to guard him tightly in the mid-range, forcing turnovers and wasted possessions. His jump shot also showed signs of real progress. After all, hitting 7 threes in one game doesn't happen by accident. Still, his efficiency has been inconsistent. To reach the superstar level he dreams of, he'll need to turn these flashes of brilliance into consistent performance night after night. On defense, despite already racking up good numbers and pulling off a few impressive plays, Caleb still makes positioning mistakes at times, something he'll need to fix by studying film and gaining more experience. The potential looks enormous, but he knows talent alone isn't enough. He has to keep putting in the work. And by his own account, that dedication really is part of his routine. When asked how many shots he takes during the offseason, Caleb said he trains somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 shots a day. According to him, all that repetition builds confidence, because his performance on the court starts to reflect the effort he's put into practice. If that number really does reflect his routine, then when he says he wants to be better than Michael Jordan, it's clear he's willing to do whatever it takes to unlock his full potential. But there's another fuel source driving his career: the constant desire to surpass whoever finished ahead of him. During the college season, North Carolina faced Kansas, the team led by Darren Peterson, who at the time was seen as the favorite to be the draft's #1 pick. For KB, that was another important name on his list. Before the game, he was asked what his phone's wallpaper was. His answer revealed exactly what was driving him: a photo of himself after the McDonald's All-American game, a reminder of the frustration of barely playing in that game. On that occasion, KB scored only 3 points, attempted just 4 shots, and played a minor role. Meanwhile, Darren Peterson took 14 shots, was named MVP of the West team, and stole the spotlight. When he finally got the chance to face him, KB answered on the court, making 9 of 11 shots he attempted, scoring 24 points, and adding 4 steals to help North Carolina beat Kansas. For a moment, the feeling of payback was complete, but after being drafted behind Darren, Caleb wanted another chance to prove his worth, this time in the Summer League. The problem was that Darren Peterson didn't play in that matchup. Even without facing him directly, Caleb turned the game into a spectacle, including a powerful dunk that drew a reaction from everyone in the building. After the game against the Wizards, a game in which Boozer also didn't play, Caleb said exactly what he thought. According to him, there's a difference between him and the other players in his generation. He feels different from them. He can't say they don't love basketball, but he genuinely loves the game, and as long as he's healthy with no physical issues, he's going to be on the court every chance he gets. With statements like that, Caleb is putting a huge amount of pressure on his own shoulders. After all, saying you intend to be better than Michael Jordan is one of the boldest claims a player can make. But it's worth considering something. Did KB say that without thinking it through? Probably not. He knew exactly the kind of pressure that would come from putting his name next to the greatest player in history. Even so, he chose to make that statement, because for him, taking on huge expectations is part of the process of becoming an extraordinary athlete. At the same time, we all know that an aggressive mentality alone isn't enough. You also need out-of-the-ordinary talent to reach greatness. And that's exactly what Caleb showed at North Carolina. He stood out as a spectacular dunker, a dominant defender, and above all, an extremely productive player. In almost any other draft class, he would have been a serious contender for at least the second pick. The problem was that scouts' attention was almost entirely locked onto the class's 3 biggest prospects, which meant his freshman season got far less recognition than it deserved. Even so, his numbers speak for themselves. Averages of 19.8 points, 9.4 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1.4 blocks per game. Despite missing more than 10 games, Caleb was still named to the All-America second team. He also averaged more assists per game in college basketball than Darren Peterson. The advanced metrics back it up even further. His PER was the 13th best ever recorded by a freshman who played at least 20 games, ahead of names like Karl Anthony Towns and Cooper Flagg. Another impressive figure was his box plus minus, where KB posted the 8th best mark ever recorded by a freshman, ahead of even Evan Mobley. But for KB Wilson, none of that seemed to matter as much. Far more than stats or individual awards, what really drove him was continuing to cross names off his revenge list. In the Summer League, Caleb had already answered on the court by scoring 35 against Cam Boozer. But even before the game against Duke, he did the same thing he'd done when he brought up Michael Jordan. He decided to raise the pressure on himself even further, publicly declaring that he doesn't like Duke and that this year they were going to run over everybody. But it wasn't just his revenge list on his mind. He also revealed a personal reason for treating that game differently. Duke had once offered him a scholarship, but then simply stopped talking to him. Whenever he faces those teams, he remembers every player they chose to recruit instead of him. Those comments lit up the Duke fan base, who were anxiously waiting for a response on the court. But it was KB who delivered the answer. With countless scouts watching the game, he made 8 of the shots he attempted, scored 23 points, and was decisive in North Carolina's win, sealed with a 3-pointer in the final moments. And KB never abandoned the promise he made to himself. That's all in the past now. The challenge is different. His promise to Chicago Bulls fans is simple: work until he becomes a legendary player. After the Summer League, he was asked if he planned to take a few days off before starting preparation for the season. His answer was immediate: no rest at all. It's his rookie year. He's going back to Chicago to work. The Summer League already showed him everything he needs to improve, because in KB Wilson's mind, there are still plenty of names left to cross off his list. And given everything he's shown since his college days, there's real reason to believe he'll keep growing. When the NBA season begins, Caleb will arrive after another offseason of hard work, trying to take the first step toward the legendary career he's promised to build. So far, he's already shown one trait that recalls Michael Jordan, turning any doubt, rejection, or provocation into motivation. In KB's view, that mentality is exactly what could lead him to build a career remembered for a long time in basketball history. And that's exactly why so many people are watching the start of his career so closely. Do you think KB Wilson has a real shot at winning Rookie of the Year this season? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. We're in this together.